Jim, normally last game before a break, you let the all hang out, but third game in 4 nights. So how do you manage the time on ice for some of these players?
Let it all hang out.
Okay.
Yep.
So no restrictions.
No restrictions. Yeah. No. You got a lot of time to rest after this, so we're going for it. Yeah.
Will David start again tonight, or how will you manage the goaltending?
David will start. Yeah.
Okay.
David will start.
Looking at last night's game, bench probably as short as it was all year. It is the 3 and 4, and obviously an emotional win. Like, what does this team maybe have in the tank? Do you know at this point, or do you have to kind of?
Yeah. No. Yeah. We're gonna find out, but I'm not worried. I will go back to that the game in Washington after the back-to-back in Nashville at the end of the trip, and I think we lost by 1. But we gave everything we had. And we shortened the bench that night, too, in the end. Sammy Helenius played 14 or something in the third-line center role. So not worried about it. Not worried about it.
Jimmy, you became the fastest coach to 50 wins in Kings history last night.
I heard that.
Your thoughts on that? Were you aware of that going into the game?
No, I was not. No, my daughter follows it closely, so she kept me posted. The thoughts are you have to have good players, but I think more importantly you have to have high-quality player or high-character players. And so you put the two together and you're going to win some games.
On the high character front, you're honoring one of them before the game. How nice is it 2 months after it was originally supposed to be that finally?
It's been incredible. Yeah, that whole thing where he gets hurt and then the fires come out. We're supposed to honor him. Like, it's just been a long process for him. So nice to see him get this honor. I think for family, I think for Kopi, Drew, the guys that have spent all that time around him. We love them, but those guys, they've got deep roots, and I think they're extremely proud of them.
Jim, the Ducks, you haven't seen in over 2 months, may have found a little bit of an identity since then. Do you notice anything different?
Yeah, they're playing good. Yeah, we've had a hard time with Dallas, and, we did a pre-scout, the Dallas-Anaheim game. I thought Anaheim played terrific. I hadn't seen anybody play Dallas that well in a long time. So not only were we, kind of watching what they did against Dallas, but we were saying we got them coming next, and they are playing well. I won't get into all the specifics, but they're playing really well. Yeah, got a nice team.
Jim, with 30 games to go, do you have any calculations about how many points, wins will take you to get to postseason?
I don't. Smitty does it hour on hour, period by period sometimes. So I do get updates. Yeah, usually every 60 minutes.
Jim, we saw Mikey get moved to IR. Any setback? Or is that just
No. Like I said, it's basically nature's healing, and didn't get healed up enough time to play. So, I think we're pretty encouraged that coming out of the break he'll be ready to practice. I think for sure. And whether he's ready to play, that'll be another story. But should be able to practice.
Jimmy, you've had some success with some new lines recently. Obviously, the Q line's taken a lot of the headlines, but that Dano line's looked really good too. When you make the decision to change your lines up a little bit, what goes through the process to decide how that's going to look like? What's the process?
Good question.
25, 22, 14?
Yeah, there's a number of things. One, who are we going to match up? That's always a thought because, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I will answer it with respect to Kevin because I've had this conversation with Kevin. Kevin's a hot topic right now. Kevin feels like he can play against the other team's best lines. I told him I don't want him to play against the other team's best lines because I don't want him to have a conscious. I want him to have a conscience, but not to the degree that you have to. I think playing against the best players. So. I want him to be able to play free and be dangerous, and from time to time turn the puck over. That is going to happen. I don't want that to happen against the other team's top line. So it's not a knock on Kevin. It's just that makes sense to us as a coaching staff to not burden him with that. So then when he was playing with Phil, Q and those guys were matching up. Now I got him with Q, so now Phil's back into the matchup hole, and Kopi just does it. I'm just trying to give him a little bit of a break. He's been doing it for 19 years or so. So sometimes it's nice to have a break from that. So that's a short answer or a long answer, but a little bit of insight into what goes into it.
And you mentioned looking at how you can maximize Kevin specifically. If you have an 18-man roster, how difficult is it to maximize each individual when you're trying to build those lines? And how do you try and keep up to date with each individual player to build the full team out of that?
Yeah, it's hard. You try to touch base and try to understand. Like Turk hasn't played as much. I'll give you another example. That's all the best I can do. Turk hasn't played as much. I'm making sure I'm talking to Turk quite a bit and letting him know where I think his game is. And because he's not playing as much, it's not necessarily that his game has fallen so on. We just don't like his game. It's not that at all. It's just much like Clarkie, it's a long season. You've been asked to do way more than we thought you would do. And you play against the other team's best players, or defensemen at least most nights. So sometimes just ease it off a little bit, and then build yourself back up again.
There's no plan to send Clark down to play during the break.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Jim, for Riddick, emotional win last night. Did he know he was going to start tonight so he gets a good night's sleep, or does he find this out today? Is that what?
Yeah, no, he didn't know he was going to start. Yeah, so I mean, I think you always got to be ready to play. Goaltenders, for sure, nowadays don't often play back-to-backs, but I think just you always got to be ready to play. So, and he had a lot of work last night too. Some nights you say, hey, if you don't have that much work, the back-to-backs. He had a lot of work last night, but David's a unique character, and I'm sure he'll come through.